Hello, Meoni here, and welcome back to another breakdown for the latest live letter. This was part 55 and took place today, the 18th of October 2019. The live letter actually kicked off with the new 5.1 trailer, which I'll put a link for you in the description. Go check that out, it's absolutely fantastic. It's currently live worldwide on this slide here, as you can see, in all different languages. They talked a few points about the actual trailer in particular. They say the Nier part looks like a prequel trailer for Nier Automata. You can enter the new MSQ dungeon, they say, with your trust system, as we already knew, and that you don't have to actually level them first. This is something that people asked about this, and they wanted to clarify it. So it'll be just like it was back when you were progressing through the Shadowbringers storyline. They actually also show Thordan in this trailer. Many people were asking live why there's some footage of Thordan in here. They confirmed there and then that the reason they show this is due to a Blue Mage log quest requiring you to defeat him with your Blue Mages. First of all, then they go over what is in 5.1, as we knew they always would, with these nice few slides. They also talk quite in length during the actual live letter, so I decided to compile this information all together in those separate categories. First of all, they talk about the fact that there's new MSQ quests, even though they don't show any. And then we move straight on to the new Beast Tribe in the form of the Pixies. These quests, as usual, will be level adjusted so that you can level alternate jobs with them as you go. The Pixies in particular are quite special this time around, as they get their own instanced map for this Beast Tribe, and it's absolutely insane. They call it this colourful playground. It's like a really bright, vibrant, lots of pinks and bright greens and blues sort of theme park. Incredible stuff. It's very vibrant and exciting, and they do confirm that once you've completed certain sections of this storyline, it will be open to everybody to actually come in here, and so you will see other players. Included in the screenshots is a working swing and a roller coaster, which is particularly awesome and has got me incredibly excited for that questline. Towards the end of the live letter, they talk about Your Hard Dark Apocalypse, so I'll save it for a bit later in this video. So the other thing they talk about is that the 5.0 Hades Extreme trial is in, and Yoshi P says here that the difficulty is on par with something like Shinryu Extreme. This time he says the downtime in cutscenes will be much longer than usual in extreme fights. However, apparently 2 tokens will drop per clear to make up for this downtime. The third ultimate difficulty challenge is now named and is confirmed to be the Epic of Alexander Ultimate. They talk about this a little bit later in the live letter, and so shall we. Let's briefly talk about the job adjustments that they go over here. They spent a lot of time talking about this, but these are the main points that they covered. First of all, ninjas will feel almost like a completely new job. First of all, they say ninjutsu is currently an ability, sometimes relying a lot on your ping if you want to avoid clipping. From 5.1 onwards, it will now be a GCD action. It will also now be a 2-stack charged action. Potencies have also been adjusted for this system change. Mudra and ninjutsu share a global cooldown with weapon skills, with a fixed recast time of 0.5 and 1.5 seconds respectively, and that's the first big change. Ninja's dot isn't part of the combo anymore, and another big change to Ninja is to Tenchi and Jin. It feels too busy and you have to activate skills instantly. You still won't be able to move, but probably with these changes you'll be less likely to mess up. And he says, I hope ninja players will like this change. Since you cannot weave your ninjutsu in between GCDs now, Bunchin will be changed. It will actually pause for ninjutsu. This effect will last for 5 GCDs other than ninjutsu. So if you interrupt for ninjutsu, the buff won't count down. Another big thing to ninja is that you no longer need to trick attack from the back of the monster anymore. Trick attack will actually work from any direction, including the front of the boss. Ninki usage also got reduced from 80 to 50. They had a slide on Summoner, where they say that Eggy Assault and Eggy Assault 2 are categorized as spells and are now affected by the global cooldown. In accordance with this change, action potencies have been increased. Tri-Disaster will no longer inflict enemies with Ruination, but directly damages them. And the enhanced Bane trait now extends bio and miasma effects to their full duration. So they talk briefly about Samurai. They say the meditation status effect now stacks up to 3, but no longer expires, and Shohar now requires 3 stacks of meditation. They then talk about bards. Songs will have a buff effect on the entire party once again. It's not going to be as strong, they say, as in 4.x. It has a weaker effect than from then, but you should be, as they say, in a song at all times. So the buff should be on your party at all times as well. So they do say this is a very strong buff in terms of synergy. Reprisal now applies to enemies all around you and not just a single target, with a new increased duration as well. Sentinel, Vengeance, etc. will last for 15 instead of 10 seconds each, and overall Bard should feel a little bit more useful. Monks then, Mantra is too strong they admit now in the game, and they are nerfing it. And that's pretty much all they say about Monks. Dragoon will become easier to use, they say, even though they don't currently want to share how that happens, only that Dragoons will be quite happy. Red Mages and Machinists both get potency increases, with Red Mage openers relying too much previously on procs, so they've changed the effect of acceleration. 3 stacks now, and they also increased the recast time to prevent misuse. Black Mage, apparently the only thing changing for them is that you can now see the remaining stacks of triple cast, and nothing else was changed. They didn't really touch much of Scholar or White Mage. Asylum's range, however, for White Mage will be increased, but that's about it. Astrologians, however, get Lord and Lady cards and won't need to be turned into Lord and Lady anymore, skipping that step, since they say it's clear which cards change into which anyway, and it was unnecessary. They're also going to be much friendlier on MP usage, so you should be using less MP overall on your Astrologian. In relation to Blue Mage content, the level cap increase has gone up to level 60 with the Blue Mage log content, and for the Blue Mage log content, they're not allowing for Echo or Unsynced mode to actually count for those log entry completions. There's lots of new skills to learn, they say, along your journey to level 60, and they hope you will enjoy them. PvP updates section now, including substantial changes to PvP actions and a new frontline rule set, the Onsal Hakaya, Danshig Nadam, but that's actually been pushed back to 5.15. The PvP updates to certain classes, they don't go over here, but I'm sure they'll be covering that in their patch notes in particular. Apparently the new frontline acts like Seal Rock, different in some ways but quite similar in core gameplay. The slight differences they do mention come in the form of this claiming the Uvu, one of these points on the map. You will actually no longer need to defend this once you cap it, it's actually yours permanently, and they wanted to bring the focus to more battles on the field. They ran tests internally for this game mode, and apparently it was quite popular. So in addition to that, we have some general PvP news as well. Apparently 24 player battles are being removed from the frontline selection. Additionally, notifications will now indicate the appearance of icebound tome lifts and drones. The recast time for return has been removed. The waiting time for return to battle after incapacitation has been fixed to 5 seconds, and a party size when registering for a duty is now limited to 4 players only. In Battle High, each player now has a separate gauge, and this gauge increases for each KO or assist you get. The gauge is reduced in half when you're incapacitated. Damage dealt and potency of healing actions increases with the gauge in 5 steps as they show here. The tactical rating bonus for defeating players affected by Battle High has also been removed. And that's pretty much all of the PvP changes they mention thus far, which is quite interesting, I think you'll agree. Now they talk about New Game Plus in 5.1. They show us the actual UI in-game. You have 2 buttons at the top of this screen, a footstep icon and an MSQ meteor icon. You can toggle between these. The meteor icon will show all Heavensward, Stormblood and Shadowbringers storylines so far. They are in the process of working on other quests such as job quests and will actually add to this in the future. A Realm Reborn is also still under development for the system and can be added in when they actually finish that, and as you probably already heard, they're streamlining a lot of that part of the game to make it much less repetitive. When you choose a chapter enter, it will actually reload your screen and everything on your UI, and you have this new icon visible on your UI that tells you what part of the New Game Plus quest you're actually on and what quest you need to do, and you can click this to toggle the button to switch. It seems rather simple and quite streamlined, so yeah, if people are excited by New Game Plus, then it looks to be exactly what you maybe wanted. You can replay apparently all instance battles from the storyline again, and you can even select a difficulty mode for each of these battles to make it very easy or ultimately very difficult for you, which should obviously give you more variety over that experience. A new mount is actually shown whilst he's flying around here, but it's worth mentioning. It's a Marlboro mount, one of these big tentacle beasts, and it actually has a special action to perform bad breath. There's actually no news where this is from, but Yoshi P does say that this is incredibly rare and good luck trying to get it, so that could mean anything. They also show off the presumably new Beast Tribe mount, the Porksy mount, which is a flying pig. We've seen this in other images, but yeah, it appears that we're actually getting a flying pig mount, which is absolutely fantastic. Crafting and gathering system updates then. They really wanted to show off the recipe tree. They show on this picture here what the tree actually looks like when clicking a subcommand on a particular recipe. It shows raw materials that you need for that individual craft and its subsequent crafting materials. They make the point of saying that this is a fairly interesting system based on the fact that you don't have to use external sites to check the crafting list for materials, and they think they're the first MMO to do it. Our gathering and crafting team, they say, worked very hard on this, and it took a lot of data and time. Additionally to this, Byragut's Blessing success rate got bumped to 100%, and they also cut off some of the other abilities they don't mention here, with the exact same sort of thing being repetitive. They're trying to simplify it as much as possible. Desynthesis is now 100% chance now as well, and with that change comes another option that they tease at here, which might even give you rare items you can sell, end quote. They say, we believe a ton of people leveled their gatherers and crafters and don't actually know what they're doing, and many people resort to just using a macro. We've tried to simplify it so that people might be able to enjoy and understand the gathering and crafting system much better. 5.1 has some of these adjustments, but a lot of these are also coming in 5.2. They talk then about Asgard Restoration, which is now pushed back to 5.11. They say this is going to be 2 weeks after 5.1 comes out. This content is designed for crafters and gatherers. They contribute through a series of tasks, including item deliveries, and progress will differ between worlds depending on that contribution. They show off a screenshot of the first few stages, which are truly damaged and desolate here, and you will focus on rebuilding installations to make the rebuilding process of everything else much easier. The NPCs here they mention are working hard as well. There's a board in the center of this area called the Sky Builders board. You're trying to fill this black colored bar on the top of this list. Once it's filled, there will be a following task to do. So at this board, you can actually turn in collectibles, and you will actually get rewards for those like usual with turn-ins. And then you can participate in concerted works. This is something like a local fate, which allows for a group of players working together to fill that black bar. Apparently this can actually fail as well, so progression will differ per server, and people need to take part in these fates to increase that progress. They do say that the collectible turn-ins will give you different items as rewards. One such item apparently is a new set of rewards including hairstyles, as they show here, which a friend of mine is going nuts over, believing that this is a Squall Leonhardt hairstyle, and other collectibles such as this unarmored gorilla mount and this glamour set. There will also be a ranking system in this crafting and gathering content, a scratch-off ticket system, and diadem improvements as part of the restoration. Apparently diadem, like briefly mentioned here, is in full development behind the scenes and will come back to the game as a gathering island, end quote. So we'll wait and see what they do with that. The restoration looks quite fun though so far. They say obviously new housing roleplay items are being added into 5.12, so lots of new furniture, both outside here with these sort of market stalls, and inside here as they show with these various images as well. New glamour is also shown. This is actually from the design contest winner. They refuse to say where it's going to be actually acquired from yet in the game, but say that it is coming. It looks absolutely gorgeous, like that sort of cyborg ninja look. It really kind of gives me those Metal Gear Rising vibes for some reason. Apparently this was created for every role in the game based on that winning outfit originally, so you won't be left out if you're not a ninja, for example. Fellowships are in 5.1, but they don't actually have any more information on those, and I think they've covered that enough before. They talk about the new Gold Saucer update with this new gate called The Slice is Right with Yojimbo. I think that's the best name ever. They showed it off avoiding mechanics on the floor, basically, sort of bamboo being cut down and falling over. There's even a section on this fight where you have to collect the MGP off of the floor to avoid Daigoro leaping on you and kicking you out the arena. It looks like a lot of fun. There's also a bonus stage of trying to find the MGP under the right cup minigame, which is sure to be entertaining as well. There's lots of new updates to Bard's performance that they don't feature here, including the ensemble feature, new instruments with brass effects, performance assistance features, and a new launcher update for the entire game. Miscellaneous updates include the G-Pose additions that we've been talking about before. There's a new custom deliveries client. They've allowed it so that pet displays in party lists again for scholars and summoners, and weapon rewards have been added for completion of certain dungeons. Additionally, the bicolor gemstone cap has gone up to 1,000 due to popular demand, and most indoor furnishings can now be used whilst seated. I think the previous argument was every time you emoted whilst sat at a bar you would stand up. That's no longer going to happen. So obviously in 5.1 we're getting new housing wards, as they've previously talked about. Housing wards 19 to 21 will be added, with subdivisions also available, and this will be open to free companies first for the first couple of weeks or so. However, Spriggan and Twintania, the new servers with Shadowbringers, will also have private estate purchase open for wards 1 through 18 during this period. They say they have a lot of new players, so they felt the need to add more plots to the game. Another miscellaneous update talks about how you can now more easily organize your items in the Glamour Dresser with filters for class, race, specific, etc. And then they show off a brand new glamour with this coat here. No news of where you get this, but it's quite exciting to see. One other thing they mention off topic here is that there are lots of old tome trader locations in the game for various things, and they want to make one place where you can actually get all of the items as rewards in one location. They don't have plans for it in 5.1, but this is being worked on behind the scenes. And we're coming towards the latter end of the live letter now, and they talk about the Nier Automata content, the copied Factory Alliance raid. They have little to really say or show, other than saying a lot of what you look at here in this footage is obtainable. On screen at the time he said that was the 2B or 2P lookalike character, so I mean, I guess we have to hypothesize that this probably means the gear, possibly the sword too, since it was requested from the fans. Who knows at this point? They show some of the areas in the raid without actually giving too much away here. They do actually show the first monster, or indeed the boss, and that's pretty much all we get. That sort of little image there of that robot in the corner. That little sneak peek. Very exciting indeed. They do say that the models were made from data they got from Nier Automata, so they don't really feel weird in the world of 14. They did work hard on them to get them to work with the engine that they use. And the last section is all talking about the next Ultimate raid with some details. It's going to be called Alexander Ultimate. They plan to release this 2 weeks after 5.1 comes out. They say they're putting in everything. There's a massive emphasis on everything. They show the cutscene in some footage during the live letter of the actual cutscene opening, and basically it's what we saw in the trailer for 5.1 that came out with this live letter. It looks absolutely ridiculous, with the first monster you face being living liquid. They say, as if we would let you fight the mechas from the start. Welcome back, Static Killer, they say. Maybe some of you have nightmares now. Yoshida says he tried it as well, of course, and had absolutely no idea what was happening. They're currently working on the final adjustments for this fight now in preparation for 5.1. They say the rewards this time around are weapons like the other Ultimates, and they are very shiny, but in a different way this time. He wants to keep the title you get upon completion a secret, as it might make you laugh. He says, a something legend? Question mark. And that concludes the live letter for part 55. There are a few things that Naoki Yoshida mentions they didn't get enough time to actually show, but they covered what they could. And honestly, this live letter went on for like 2 hours or so. It was absolutely incredible. Thank you all kindly for watching. A massive thanks and a shout out to the Reddit Final Fantasy XIV team, who worked incredibly hard and were incredibly helpful on their public Discord server with very timely transitions to make videos like this one possible. Enjoy your evening, and I'll indeed see you all next time.